Once again, thank you so much for staying on the AM show. It's a time of love, sharing, and merrymaking for many, but for others, it's a time of pain, conflict, and hardship. I'm talking about what's happening in Bawku, and so far we know that over 10 lives have been lost to recent clashes there, the latest being over the weekend, which claimed a man, his children, and his mother. Regional correspondent Albert Sori joins us via Zoom with more to share on this. Hello, Albert. Good morning to you. The last time we spoke, it wasn't clear exactly what the police was doing because it was tight-lipped on the matter. Have you been able to get any word from the police, and what more can you report?
Yes, Bernice. So the situation has not changed. The police continues not to give us any information as far as Bawku is concerned. They feel that for security reasons, they have to keep this information to themselves. The municipal police commander refuses to speak because he says it is not his job. The regional police PRO, who the commander says is mandated to speak to us, also says that he doesn't have information to give us. So far, the information we get is from our sources on the ground, and we try to confirm from multiple sources, and that is how we are able to report the information.
Interesting. There were some 2 persons who were injured over the weekend. Do we have any update on how they are faring?
Yeah, so their situation was critical, and at the moment, they are still on admission. Yesterday, there were more injuries to some 2 persons. 3 people were also killed yesterday, and these 3 included a man and his wife. One of the injured yesterday was the child of these 2 parents who died. One more person, who is a woman, was also killed yesterday. And so over the weekend, 2 days ago and yesterday, we witnessed more killings. The reports we also have from Bawku indicate that there have been a lot of gunshots, mostly in the night, even at curfew hours. And most of the residents of Bawku are worried, and they don't understand why these shootings are still going on, even though security, like the military and police details, are all on the ground. They feel that something is not adding up, because if the security is on the ground, they don't expect all the firing that has been going on. They don't expect even the killings and the injuries that people, are getting out of being shot by people who, up to now, we do not know have been identified or not. So, for the residents of Bawku, it has been very, very, very sad for them. Yesterday, Christmas Day, and they had to spend Christmas in curfew because by 8 p.m., everybody in Bawku is expected to be indoors, and then they are only allowed to be outside of their homes at 5 a.m. So that's how Christmas is looking like for the residents of Bawku.
Albert, this latest incident, which happened yesterday, is it in any way related to what occurred on Saturday? And did it happen in the same community, or it's a retaliative action?
So that much we cannot tell. This actually happened in a different vicinity, so we cannot tell if they are related. But the issue with Bawku is that a lot of the killings are no longer even adding up, if you look at it, because 2 days ago, the people who were killed were told were neither Kusasi and they were not Mampusi. So they are not members of any of the factions involved in the conflict. So the questions many people in this region are asking is why they were killed and who are the people who are behind these killings. Yesterday, we haven't yet been able to identify the people who were killed, whether they belonged to the factions or not, but they wouldn't be related, most likely, because yesterday's incident happened in a totally different suburb of Bawku.
Right, Albert, we'll leave it here for now. Albert Sorry is our Upper East correspondent, bringing us some details to what's occurring in Bawku. Really disturbing indeed. Well, we've been joined on the phone by Reverend Dr. Ernest Edujemfi, who is chairman of the National Peace Council, and Amadou Hamza Zanga, who is MCE in one of the areas in Bawku. Good morning to you, gentlemen. Thank you for joining the program.
Yeah, good morning.
Right. Let me start with you, Mr. Zanga. Yeah. We have reported 2 separate incidents of violence leading to death over the weekend. The police is not really able to give us much information, but what do you know with regards to these 2 incidents?
Yes, I want to start by thanking the President of the Republic of Ghana for the wonderful work he's been doing as far as the peace process in Bawku is concerned. I also seize this opportunity to thank the securities for doing their work. Even though there is a lot of work they need to do in Bawku, I must admit that. But if I hear you say the police could not provide you with the needed information, what exact information do you require from the police that they could not provide you? Hello?
Hello. Yes. So my colleague wanted more information with regards to. Yeah, I'm about to get there, Mr. Zanga. For example, we know that, or we are told that for Saturday's incident, the people involved were Buzangas. They didn't belong to any of the factions in the feud in Bawku. But for what happened yesterday, we don't know who these people are. Have their identities been established? Do we know exactly what led to their killing?
Yes, it will surprise you that the people are my neighbors. There is no single house between myself and my house, their house. They're just right by my house. And I think I heard a gunshot very early in the morning at around the hours between 4:30, 4:45, thereabout. And I was surprised when I heard the gunshots that I had to call on my military men who were on duty with me. Apparently, they said they were on duty to protect my life and that they cannot move away and leave me. What we can do is to look for other people, the other military officers. And so I decided to call their commanders. Before they got here, in fact, things haven't been easy. They entered in a house very close to me and decided to do the massacre. They killed them in cold-blooded. One, Al-Hassan, who is a man, I think he leads prayer. It's an open mosque that they pray. And apparently when the sisters and then the wife heard it, they shouted. The people were completely in military uniform. I have peeped in the window and I saw them. I saw them with my eyes. They were in military uniform. And I can tell you that I'm not giving a fabrication. They were in complete military uniform. And so I was surprised that military people would have gone into an area like my area and decided to shoot at innocent souls who have never been involved. I have known Al-Hassan since childhood. And I've known the family. None of them holds even a cutlass. They have never been involved whatsoever in the conflict. They shot the wife. The wife is alive. They shot the younger sister, Hawa. The younger sister is alive. They shot the daughter. They shot other people there and killed them. And so when they were going, the house near to my house again, they shot at somebody who performed his ablution and was about to come out to the mosque for prayers. And shot his cow. And so totally you can get about 5 people dying on that very day, on that very Saturday. The rest, I had to take my vehicle at that dawn between the hours of 5 o'clock, 5, And I rushed with them to the police station, to the Presby Hospital, which is very closer to my house. And that is indeed what happened on that day. As I talk to you, I have been able to work because they were on critical condition, and the doctors recommended the transfer to Tamale and to Bolga. And indeed, yesterday I was able to organize the ambulance, and they took the three of them, the deceased wife, the deceased younger sister, and then the deceased daughter. As I talk to you, they are currently on admission in the various hospitals in Bolgatanga and in Tamale. That is exactly what happened on Saturday.
Mr. Zanga, this must have been a really harrowing thing for you to witness. Yes. But you spoke about this Al Hassan who's been killed now. You say he is not a violent person. He's never held a gun. As you know him, you can vouch for him.
Yes.
Is it the case that you suspect that these persons you say were clad in military regalia? Came there. Is it your suspicion that they came there thinking that Al Hassan may be part of one of the factions fomenting trouble?
You said, pick your question again, let me get you clear.
I'm asking if your suspicion is that the military people came there because they may suspect that Al Hassan may be part of the factions, one of them fomenting trouble.
Al Hassan, I know him for so long.
Is that your suspicion? Is that your suspicion? Do you suspect?
I actually don't want to delve much into that, but I can assure you that Al Hassan lives in my vicinity. Al Hassan is my neighbor. Al Hassan is a Malam who is going around and looking to get his daily bread. I have never seen Al Hassan involved himself in any conflict in Boko whatsoever.
Yeah, Mr. Zanga, I understand that. My question...
Who was the last to kill, has never in my life involved himself in a conflict of that sort.
My question is, why do you think the military was there? Because you're vouching for him, I'm wondering if you are thinking that the military came there because of such suspicion.
The military, listen to me. I am telling you, some people who alleged to be military personnel.
Okay.
Were wearing military, but not the real military.
All right. Okay. So have you heard from the military commander in your area? Because
he came to me.
Okay.
The police commander was here. The two of them all were here.
Okay.
They saw the incident. They saw the people. I have.
And is he able to account for his men in the area? Does he know where they all went on the said day?
Absolutely. That is exactly what he's telling me.
Okay.
And that is what the divisional police commander Adamu Stili also told me.
Right. Yeah. So what's the situation like now, seeing that this was very close to your doorstep?
Very, very close, man. So I'm wondering. And that's why I am trying to find out from the military and the police commanders what is happening in Boko. Look, I'm not talking because they are my neighbors. I must be worried because they are my neighbors. I am worried because some innocent souls in every part of Boko have been killed in that cold manner. I'm wondering. The life of every single person in Boko matters to me as a municipal chief executive. Yesterday they went to an area which is not closer to my area. They equally killed a woman and a husband, and they moved to the next house to kill another lady there. Previously last week, an old man was killed, and his son was shot at. His son didn't die on the spot. The son was taken to Vineyard Hospital and later died. This is complete violence with impunity. The lives of Kusasi, the lives of Mampusi, the lives of Moshis, the lives of business matter to the people of Boko. We want them alive. We do not want any other person to die. Why is it that I'm asking this question? There are security apparatus in Boko. These heinous crimes keep on happening and visiting on the citizens and the natives of Boko. I want to find out.
Right, Mr. Zanga, I'll give you some time to just sip on some water. I'll come back to you to find out what MUSEC and RECSEC is doing about the situation. But let me bring in the chairman of the National Peace Council, who is also on the program. He's been listening in, actually, Reverend Dr. Ernest Ejujemfi. Good morning to you, Rev. I'm sure you've heard what Mr. Hamza has to say. You are with the Peace Council, and I know that there's been a lot of effort in getting peace back in Bawku. What are your immediate thoughts about these incidents?
Well, thank you very much for having me on the program. I think that...
sorry, Rev, I can hardly hear you. Can you kindly speak up a bit?
Thank you very much for having me on your program.
Right.
The challenge we have is that the longer this conflict continues, the more avenues criminals are likely to come into the situation. And from what he is saying now, the impression I have is that there are some other people who have infiltrated into the community who are doing these things. And it's because the conflict is on, these criminals can also come in and do all the things that are happening. My view is that we should be able to get the Sarsis and the Mampusi leadership together, especially between the Boknaba and the Nairi. Whatever means we have to adopt to get these two top chiefs together to agree to talk to their people to cease fire is a critical thing that we need now. If we're able to get them to get their people to cease fire, then it becomes easier for the military and the security apparatus to fish out these criminals who have infiltrated into the system. If they don't cease fire, then we're going to have all these guys running around killing people innocently. And it will be difficult to hold anybody responsible because it appears that the two communities are doing this, whereas it may not be coming from them. So these are my immediate comments.
Right, Rev, I appreciate that in conflicts, criminals and other elements, could even be people with links to terrorist groups, taking advantage of this. But in all the incidents we have heard, no item has been picked, no robbery has taken place. And so it's quite curious, you know, you're just wondering whether these are really criminal elements or persons involved in the real conflict. But let's talk about the work of the National Peace Council. We know that the IGP and some interested persons and parties and organizations were in the area about 2 months ago or 3 months ago to try and foster peace among the feuding factions. In fact, I spoke to Dr. Adam Bodnar, a security analyst, who is saying that, like you have just shared, the longer this stays, the probability of it assuming different dimensions from the earlier chieftaincy conflict becomes possible. For the National Peace Council, what are the real efforts that have been made in ensuring that Bawku returns to peace?
Well, from the angle of the National Peace Council, a lot of work is going on there now. Currently, we have a lot of assistance from USAID to the Regional Peace Council to deal with these matters. And so there are a lot of activities, a lot of engagement still going on. But as I said, until we get the top leaders to agree, recently we heard the Sarsis talking about moving out of the ethnic committee. That is a major group that helps us to resolve the issues. So we're talking to them to come back and also talking to the Mampusi side that they should get all their people to come back to the table. It's the only means by which we can get this issue resolved. And so we are putting in a lot of effort in making sure that the Inter-Ethnic Peace Council, Peace Committee works. And the Regional Peace Council has been mandated. We have one of our board members from Accra who is there assisting the Regional Peace Council to ensure that they can get this resolved. And I think that generally, when things are calm, it's then easier for the Peace Council to come in. When they're still fighting and firing of guns, it becomes difficult for us. Ours is when the security forces are able to bring some calmness into the area, then it makes our negotiating work easier. when they're still firing, it's difficult for us to move in because we are not military, we are not the police. Ours is to talk to people, and we need that moment of security and safety for our people to operate effectively.
Rev, this faction you say that wanted to exit the committee, were there any reasons given?
Well, from what we heard from their leader, he thinks that the leader on the Mampusi side was not cooperating as much as they had expected. And so these are the things that we'll be talking to them about. We had recommended some time ago to them that if some of the parties are not responding as much as possible, then that party should probably nominate new people to serve so that they can get the full participation of the people. So those are the things we're trying to do, because if we can get that committee together, it's been on for years, and that has been the group that has helped us to bring stability to the place. And so we think that getting the ethnic group together, the committee together, is the best way to deal with these matters, because then you are asking the teams themselves to negotiate among themselves what they think is the best way to deal with the situation.
I appreciate your time.
I want to make an intervention also, please.
Oh, okay, please go ahead.
Yes, I just from what the Reverend is talking about, I think it's the best way to go. If the two factions are not talking together, how then do we expect they will be peaceable? How? So I am saying that there must be an immediate action, an intervention to ensure that the Kusasi faction is brought back onto the peace committee. And in fact, look, the efforts that we have actually initiated since last year will be delayed. I have been able to mobilize resources. We've been able to move them out to Bolgatanga for them to have a two-way election, a training on area. We've moved to Tamale. We are now on making sure that we mobilize the youth on both sides to move to Bolga or Tamale for another workshop, for us to see how we can how we can negotiate, we can mediate between the two factions and bring lasting solutions to Bawku. But we cannot continue to go on with this impunity.
Right.
I have given you those scenarios. For example, there were other people that were killed. So many people were killed in Bawku. You cannot even mention the names of those people. A woman was murdered. A woman was murdered in Babungari. This woman, apparently, the information I gathered was that people also wore military uniform and they got there. That is what I am getting. Those are the information that comes to me as the chairman of the Municipal Security Council. One old man who was murdered, and I told you the son died later in the hospital, Baba Salam. I can now figure the name. It's completely nonsense. We don't have to do that. Why should we begin to kill ourselves again in this conflict? I am seriously working on development project in Bawku to propel the needed development that Bawku is lagging over the years. And that is the period for 1 year I'm not able to do proper developmental agenda for the people of Bawku. The government of Ghana is stressing so much that the desire to get the people of Bawku the needed development projects that we need as a municipality. Government has gone to look for funding from the World Bank, a loan facility to actually raise the standards of Bawku from its current status to a more modernized urban city. The program is running and for 35 municipal assemblies. Bawku happens to be one of the few assemblies in the country that is benefiting from this facility. Millions of Ghana cities pouring in and redesigning the Bawku market. I'm trying to make sure I construct roads for the people of Bawku, provide them with water, give them necessary electricity to be able to do their daily activities. And this impunity keep on going. I think that there's a need for central government to take a holistic approach of this whole thing.
Right.
People are running away from their homes from Dadure. People have vacated their residence in Zongo. Other communities where I live, a lot of people have moved out of those areas. What is happening?
Mr. Sanga.
There's a need for us to do something about it.
Yeah.
The military actions alone in Bawku cannot. There is no 100% security in that. You cannot get 100% security. And those loopholes, Kusasis are losing, Mampusis are losing, majority of the people, Moshis are losing, business are losing. Everybody is losing. There's a need for us to come on the board and talk to each other to find lasting solutions to end this particular needless conflict.
Mr. Hamza Zanga, please, I'll ask you to catch your breath a bit. Clearly, we understand your frustration and we can feel it in your voice. But let me come back to you, Rev. Mr. Hamza has responded to the next question that I had for you, but I want your response to it because Dagbon is a classic example. We saw what happened there. The president even went there with the installment of the new Yana, and there was a lot of celebration. There was a lot of pomp and pageantry. So we know that there is an end to conflict. It is possible.
It's possible.
How, Rev, are you on the line, Rev?
Yes.
Right. How would you assess the central government's posturing towards Bawku over the years? And what would your advice be, looking at the Dagbon example, on how the first gentleman of this land can possibly intervene to ensure that there's lasting peace in Bawku?
Well, as far as I know that the president has spoken to the two big chiefs and he told them his position as far as this case is concerned and how they need to resolve that. So there's been a lot of attempts. But I think that while we're talking to the top people should be ready to talk to those under them, to say that, look, let's put our arms, let's talk, let's resolve this matter. Besides that, I think that the problem is not only with the president or the House or the National Peace Council or the municipal chief executive. This problem requires the whole nation. We have to get the NCC to do education of the public. We must get the House of Chiefs to come in because these are two top chiefs who are fighting among themselves. They should be able to come in. We need to get the CSOs who are working in those areas to put in all the effort. The security agencies must also be retooled to look at how they are looking at it. It requires everybody on board. We cannot be one agency alone to deal with this matter. We will not get around it. The Peace Council has been there for several years. The last 2 years, we've been moving in and out, and it's costing the nation a lot of money. Everybody must be involved. The National Media Commission must get involved. Those two FM stations there must be held responsible for some of the things they do over there. So,
and what are some of those things they do?
There are the two stations belong to the two different factions.
All right.
And so everybody is doing his own thing. The Media Commission must intervene. And sometimes we think that they should shut down those two stations for a while. You know, so that nobody begins to fund all the things that are going on. There's a need for everybody to be involved. There are also other tribal groups outside Bawku, some in Accra, some in Kumasi, who are also fueling all the things going on out there. How many people in Bawku have got money to buy guns and cartridges? There are people who are funding all those. And that we need to deal with all these matters. And that is why I say that it requires the whole nation. Everybody who can help us must help us to deal with this matter. We can sit back and expect only one agency to deal with it. It is not possible. So we need everybody the media must do proper education. We should not take position and just report on the matter. How do we educate the people to understand that we cannot kill ourselves as Ghanaians?
Right.
At the end of the day, we can't continue like this. And all of us in this matter, everybody is frustrated. You can't leave Accra, go to Bawku, you come back, you go again. And the last time we were there, we thought that this issue had been resolved. We left the place, 2 hours later, people were killed. And so you don't know what to do. What else can we do?
Right, Rev.
So we are asking everybody who can help us to help bring stability to the place. Like the MCE said, I mean, the development of Bawku is gradually coming down. Shops are closed, hospitals are closed. Even my own church, my pastor in Bawku, has relocated to Wa. He said they can't stay there. You know, it's frustrating for all of us to be dealing with this matter. And I think that everybody who can help us, who can talk to people, who can help in mediating this issue, must come in and help us to deal with this matter.
We appreciate your time this morning, Reverend Dr. Ernest Ejujemfis, Chairman of the National Peace Council. Earlier, you heard the MCE for Bawku, Mr. Hamza there, sharing his thoughts with us. We will be monitoring the situation there and bring you up to speed with whatever happens. We'll take a quick breather. When we come back, we'll delve into our conversation about the new deadlines and new dimensions to the debt exchange program. Do stay.